Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing a 8-4 Magic Origins draft. Thanks for everybody that tuned in to the rare draft. It was a cool experience. If you want to watch it, it was the last draft. It was number 47. And I didn't do well, but it's kind of one of those things you can't do often because I think you're going to end up running into your Tainted Remedies and Helm of the Gods fairly often, since those are just poor rares that are probably often going to just be passed all the time. So I don't think it's something that you can do often in any given format, but I may try it again in Origins at some point. Onto this pack, we have some good cards. I don't know what I like the most, to be honest. Probably the Suppression Bonds, just because there's no other white cards in here. So, besides, like, the Grasp. And Bonds is good. There's also Anchor to the Ether, Clash of Wills. There's good blue cards, is kind of the problem. I'll take the Bonds. I mean, Bonds is very good. It seems like a fairly safe first pick. Okay. This is interesting. So I can stay on color by taking Celestial Flare. Celestial Flare is typically a more late card. I could just slam the Ravaging Blaze, which is nice because you can end up just stealing a game with it. There's also Evolutionary Leap, which I like, but I think I like Blaze more. I do like Flare. I think Flare is certainly weaker than Ravaging Blaze, and weak enough where I don't necessarily want to stay on color with my first pick. I might just want to take Blaze and see if that pans out for us. I do think Blaze is very good. I think Wild Instincts is good too. Wild Instincts is also better than Celestial Flare. So I think, the safest pick would probably just be the Flare because I'd be more open to a second color, especially if I really want to play Suppression Bonds too. But I'm just going to take the Blaze because I think it's that much better than Flare is. Okay, interesting. Well, we have Draga Invocation, which is very good. We have... In white and red, we really don't have great picks in here. I could just take the Invocation. I do think Thunderclap Wyvern's a good card. If I take Thunderclap Wyvern, I'm going to want to move into blue. And if you'll remember in that first pack, I passed some pretty good blue cards. So I think there's at least going to be a couple other people, I think, that want to be in blue. I do like with Thunderclap Wyvern a lot, though. I could just take the Invocation. Maybe either a green-red or a green-white deck, or maybe it doesn't work out. I mean, Invocation's very good. I think Instincts, you know how I feel about Invocation. If you watch my drafts, I love the card. I think it's very powerful. I'm passing another Wild Instincts, though, but I think it's got to be Invocation's the strongest card in here by quite a bit, so I'll take it. If it pans out, great. If not, whatever. Okay, now we've got a Starfish, which is definitely a strong card, but that'll be my fourth color. It's a little bit awkward. It's certainly stronger than Visionary, but Visionary is quite good. I don't mind my first few picks just being great cards and then sort of falling into whatever 2 colors or possibly 3 colors I'm supposed to be. The safest pick here, based on my first 3 picks, is the Visionary, but Starfish is certainly a better card. I'm going to take the Starfish. Like I said, we're taking a 4th color, which is awkward, but I'm actually okay with it. Nothing matters here, so I'm actually going to take the Battlefield Forge. There's a decent chance this helps me splash Suppression Bonds if I don't end up white, and maybe I end up blue-red or red-green, and I can splash Suppression Bonds off Battlefield Forge, and I'm giving up actually nothing for it. I mean, maybe consider like Guardians of Meletus. Oromancer brings back Suppression Bonds, but it's not that great anyway, so let's just take a Battlefield Forge. I'm actually okay with that. Alright, I'm not the biggest Nissa's Revelation fan. I do like Stalwart Haven. There's no good blue card in here. There is a Reclusive Artificer. We have no artifacts, though. And there's a Recluse, which I think is okay, too. I'm going to take the Stalwart Haven. I think it's the best card remaining in this pack anyway, so I feel pretty good about that. We can take the Aeronaut. That's a good card. Certainly the strongest card remaining here, so okay. I don't think Displacement Wave's all that great. I think Aeronaut's probably better. I've come to like Aeronaut quite a bit, actually. Okay, this is interesting. We can take Stratus Walk now commit a little bit more deeply to a blue-white deck. Stratuswalk's not the best in a blue-white deck because most of your guys fly anyway. But there is an Honored Hierarch, which I don't think is that great, and Eva's Force Mage, which is also only okay. I guess I'll take Stratuswalk. I mean, there's certainly some white creatures with Renown that I think work really well with it, so okay. Tabled Clash of Wills is a good... I mean, it's a great card, so I'll definitely take it here and be happy about that. Yeah, I mean, there's a Freyka's Disciple too, which is good, but I actually just like Clash of Wills a lot. All right, this is kind of a weird one. I don't think... Oh, Recluse is the best card remaining. We'll take it. Yeah, I don't really care about any of these cards. Guess I can take Bone to Ash. I think we're more likely to find other high-end I like more than Deep Sea Terror. I don't really like Bone to Ash main deck anyway, but that's okay. We'll cut the white card. Take Mantle of Webs. All right, kind of an awkward pack one, admittedly. I got powerful cards in 4 colors, but it definitely seems like we're blue at this point, and I'd still like to be white. Negate's actually a fine card. Maybe not the best main deck card, but you certainly can main deck it. I guess we already have a Clash of Wills, which makes the main deck negate a little bit less exciting. Okay, so nothing in white, nothing in blue. Could take the Turner Frog. I really don't like the card. I don't think it's that great. Works well alongside an Aeronaut, though, I guess. Yeah, I don't think Turner Frog's all that good. I could just take a red card here. I mean, or a green card. I think I like Boggart Brute more than Goblin Glory Chaser. I'm not the biggest Goblin Glory Chaser fan, or Call of the Full Moon for that matter. I don't really like... I think they're both fine, and I would play them both, but I think Boggart Brute is better in general for me. I've had better experiences with Boggart Brute. I could also take the Timberpack Wolf started off, maybe move towards blue-green. I do have a Recluse, which is playable, and Invocation, which is strong. I only have Ravaging Blaze in red. There just really isn't a blue or white card I care about in here. Guess I can take Boggart Brute. I've got a little bit of fixing for it already with the Forge and might still be able to make Suppression Bonds work if I end up blue-red. This is interesting. I think I want the Void Mage because basically at this point I feel like I'm for sure blue. Like, I definitely don't want to main deck Bone to Ash, and I probably don't want to main deck Negate, but even still, I mean, Stratuswalk's not necessarily a card you have to play either, but I feel comfortable taking Void Mage. There is a Erosis Champion, but I just basically need to find a second color. I think we're going to stick to blue, so let's take the Void Mage, which is just a good card. I think War Oracle's stronger, but if I don't end up in white, I'm probably going to regret passing a Void Mage. So I'll just take the Void Mage. Another Starfish? Jeez. There's a Topin Freeblade. All right, I'm going to take the Freeblade. I think that's enough of a sign. There's also Swift Reckoning, but I think I actually like Freeblade more and probably just commit to blue-white. I like Starfish too, but Freeblade is certainly good enough. All right, let's commit to blue-white, I think, at this point, pretty comfortably. We get Vryn Wingmare, which I think is actually fine here. Not insane, but certainly playable. All right, Anointer's very good. There's also Watercourser, but I think Anointer's pretty insane, so we'll take that. Aeronaut number 2 versus Celestial Flare 1. Our removal is currently Suppression Bonds, Void Mage, Clash of Wills. I think I actually want the Celestial Flare. I do like Aeronaut, but usually 4 or 5 drops easier to find. A couple of people have commented that I underrate Charging Griffin. Overall, I've had pretty bad experiences with the card. I don't think it's very good. Like, for example, I think it's actually worse than, like, Assault Griffin, the 4-mana 3-2. I'd rather have a 4-mana 3-2 in this format than a 4-mana 2-2 that becomes 3-3 when it attacks. I think being able to be defensive is very important, and paying 4 mana for a 2-power, 2-toughness guy is just... can really be not good enough on some of these early aggressive board states, but Celestial Flare is good enough to take there. Okay. Another Aeronaut. I'll take the Knight. I don't think it's phenomenally powerful, but it's more exciting, I think, than Aeronaut and Ring Warden Owl here, since it's a little bit lower on the curve. Works well with Anointer. Okay, Tactician actually does work well with... I mean, there's also Maya Coast for like green splash, but we don't have any cards that can really splash in green. And I probably end up playing Tactician. I actually think Tactician's good with Renown. And it's good with like Aeronaut and stuff like that. There's nothing else in here really. I could take the Angel's Tomb. I actually think we're on a decent path to be able to playing that, but I think I'd actually rather have the Tactician. Okay, none of these cards matter. I'll take the Guardians just in case I need it. Grasp is a pretty powerful card. I feel comfortable taking that. Send to Sleep, not great, but I'll cut blue. I mean, we're definitely committed to... I'm actually going to take the Warhorn over the Deep Sea Terror. If I get some more token producers, I think Warhorn could be okay. Not likely to play it now, though. Artificer, potentially splashable off Forge, but I guess we have a couple artifacts. It's probably more splashable than Cobble Brute, maybe. Sure, Deep Sea Terror. Okay. So, all right, we solidified ourselves into blue-white after Pack 2. I think we're looking good. I feel like pretty comfortable on, at least in white and blue, I think. I think I'm pretty comfortably in those colors. We have a decent amount of removal. Prefer to not play the Terror. I think I would prefer to not play Guardians or Warhorn. Or Send to Sleep. I mean, we've got some cards I'd prefer to cut, but we'll see how this pack pans out. I don't think Artificer's likely to happen. Warhorn currently is not likely to happen either. Oh, wow. Wow. There's some good cards in here. I think Soulblade Djinn's very good. I think I might just want the Lieutenant, though. Lieutenant's going to synergize a whole lot better with Anointer. And we already look to be deeper white than blue, and it works amazingly well with Stratus Walk. I think Soulblade Djinn is a very strong card, and it's rare. And it might be the top end we're looking for. This is actually just straight up a challenging pick. I'm not sure what I like more. It really is just between Soulblade Djinn and Consul's Lieutenant. The nice thing about Lieutenant is it comes down early, and it's a big threat. A 2-power first strike for 2 mana is very good. That already is like rare quality. And on top of that, it has Renown and another ability that's relevant. Soulblade Djinn is a well-costed, powerful flyer. This is just straight up challenging. I think I'm actually going to take Lieutenant because it's cheaper. But yeah, I think Soulblade Djinn in this... I really think it could go either way. I actually just don't know. I actually just don't know what I like more. I think I'm liking Lieutenant more because it's cheaper. That's it. And I maybe have a deck that possibly synergizes slightly better with it. That was a really tough pick. So 11 creatures. I could take Cleric of the Forward Order, which I've come to appreciate quite a bit in this format. Being able to play a 2-drop that gains you life can be really nice in some matchups. We also could take Enshrouding Mist. If we look at our non-creature spells, we have Grasp, Flare, Send to Sleep, which I don't think is going to happen. Stratus Walk might still happen because of Freeblade and Lieutenant and Knight. Warhorn I'd prefer not to play. Guardians I'd prefer not to play. Everything else is looking good. Like, these are all pretty premium cards, so that's 10 creatures, 5 spells. Yeah, I can't tell if I want another 2-drop or an Enshrouding Mist combat trick. They're both pretty good. We don't have any combat tricks currently, right? But I do want at least 5 more playable creatures. This is a little bit challenging. 2-drop creature versus pretty excellent combat. I think I'm going to take the combat trick. We'll see if that pans out for us. All right, Stalwart Haven's quite good. There is a Claustrophobia too, though. So I need 7 more playables. I definitely want at least 15 creatures. To be honest, I'm pretty tempted to take the Haven over the Claustrophobia. I do think Claustrophobia is very good, though. Especially, the problem is, I actually just can't cast Claustrophobia after a Lieutenant. That's just not possible. I think actually Haven seems a little bit more in line with what our deck wants to do. Only because if I don't end up with enough creatures, I think it could be super detrimental. Whereas like removal-wise and trick-wise, we're doing okay. We already have enough where we could probably make a deck from what we've got, but it's tough. I mean, Claustrophobia is very good, but if I don't end up with 15 creatures, I'm going to feel a little bit uncomfortable with this deck, especially with like Grasp. So I'm going to take the Aven. Okay, Knight of the Pilgrim's Road. I'm going to take that. Get another Renown guy. I wouldn't mind a second Enshrouding Mist, but Knight's fine. Fine card. All right, could get a 2-drop here in Screeching Scab, which I don't think is great, but slightly more exciting than Ringwarden Owl. Although Owl might be something that we could top out at. Okay, maybe I take the Owl. It's fine. It's not a bad card. It's playable. We don't really have much top end. I still probably want to play 17 lands just because we're a bit color intensive, but taking a double blue card when I only have single blue is maybe a little bit awkward. I still think I'd take Owl. I don't know. That could go either way. Llanowar Waste, probably not. Do I play Sphinx's Tutelage? This doesn't strike me as a Sphinx's Tutelage deck, only because we see more beatdown than mill. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can pay 6 to draw and discard, but it doesn't seem like a battle plan this deck wants. Whereas Mighty Leap is a combat trick and Maritime Guard. Maritime Guard's not terribly good, but it might be something this deck wants. Just something to play early that lets us... We have a few flyers, not a ton. I do think Mighty Leap works well with Renown. I'm going to take the Guard anyway, though. I don't know if it's right. That could go either way. Well, thank God it's not a rare draft, huh? All right, I'll probably just take the first Disperse here over the Mighty Leap. I think Disperse is quite good. Oromancer to bring back Suppression Bonds, and Grasp, I guess. Okay, well... It's probably more playable than a second Guardian, so okay. Although, I'd prefer to not main deck it. If I have to, I will. Okay, I'm fine with Vial. I think it's the only card that's probably playable for us. I don't really like Scrapskin Drake, but it seems like something I could play if I needed to. None of these cards matter. I don't need a second Send to Sleep. I'll just hate a Bloodlust, maybe. That could be annoying. Hallowed Moonlight. Seems unlikely that I'd play it, but I'm not going to hate a Cobble Brute or a Thornbow Archer. Maybe if someone's got the Priest of the Blood right, I could end up playing it. This deck ended up okay. Main issues, like, we got the appropriate number of everything we need to make this a real deck. I think my main issue with it is I could have gotten some more premium cards early on if I had known at the beginning that I was going to end up blue-white. Like, I would have taken the Wyvern over that card, whatever I took over it, that off-color card, probably Dragon Invocation, I think is what I took over it. So it's one of those things where I just sort of found my way into blue-white, and I made a pretty good deck. But I think if I had known from the beginning that I would end up blue-white, I think I could have made a significantly better deck. But I don't have any issues with our deck. I think it's perfectly acceptable. We have a good curve. We have an appropriate number of creatures. We have an appropriate number of removal spells. But it's just one of those cards that sort of got hindered because I was a little bit all over the place in the beginning, trying to sort of establish where I wanted to be. So we definitely want to roll more white than blue. I probably only need 7 blue sources. We are main decking a Maritime Guard too, which is slightly awkward, but otherwise it's like Oromancer over a Maritime Guard, which I don't love. And we have enough flyers where I think Maritime Guard could actually be good for us. So this deck's better than mediocre, worse than great. So I guess that makes it good only. We have some decent removal and tricks. Enshrouding Mist, Clash of Wills, Disperse, Flare, Bonds, Void Mage. We've got some, not necessarily card draw, but card quality increasers in Starfish. Alchemist Vial seems okay. So this deck's not phenomenal. It doesn't look like, your ace in the hole guaranteed to win sort of deck, but I think it's very functional. And I think I'm still likely to play 17 lands. I think I do 10-7, 10 white, 7 blue, which is what they say too. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. Yeah, this deck's okay. Have some powerful 2-drops, have some powerful 3-drops, have a little bit of removal. I think this deck could function just fine. It's pretty draw dependent, but most of the time it is. So we'll run it like this, and we'll see how we do. We'll see you round one.